Good morning, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Okay, continuing in the do-it-yourself series, we need to talk about a knife to go with our kit. Now, this series is based upon people that are kind of on a budget, and we're trying to get started, and we're trying to learn what we need to carry, and etc. So, we've made a cordage kit, we've made a fire kit. Now, to help with that fire kit, we're going to need some sort of knife to go with it. And there is a myriad of choices out there. But the bottom line for this discussion, we're going to talk about budget knives that are actually really good for the price. Okay? Now, as you know, I carry a custom knife. I carry a William Collins Blackbird. Custom knives, expensive knives like this are an investment, but you really need the skill set before you invest that kind of money. It's like going and buying a high performance car. If you're not someone who's got the training or the opportunity to train or etc., you can go buy yourself a F1 Formula car if you've got the money. But it's really, you're going to have such a learning curve, you're probably going to damage it. Well, it's the same way with a knife. If you don't have the knife skills yet, investing in something like this is really kind of a waste of money yet, because you don't have the skills yet to make this really perform. Doesn't mean that it's not a better quality. It is, but you can't buy skill. You can't buy experience. God knows if that was possible to sell it and buy it, I'd have a shingle out. But the thing about it is you gotta, bit by bit, you have got to acquire the skill, and that's when you'll upgrade your tools naturally, because you'll want a better knife that holds an edge better, little different design. I want it more to be like this, etc. So let's talk budget knives. And these Jorgensen, you can get them off of Amazon, are a classic, like a Mora Clipper, bushcraft type field knife. They do not have a great 90-degree spine, at least mine didn't out of the box. But you can take a file and add a 90-degree spine. There's tons of videos out there, and I know I've done a couple of them on how to improve the 90-degree spine on your knife. But it's a simple plastic sheath. It's a fairly stout piece of plastic right there. It doesn't feel light and flimsy, and it locks in place, so it's got good retention. And they come in orange, which is really handy for those that, like me, that can be absent-minded, and you're going to lay it down. Good news is the price. This one was like $9. And so you can find them quite often listed on Amazon of less than 10, 15 bucks. So it's an investment where you could get like two of them and be able to practice and do skills. And if you do damage it a little bit when you're practicing sharpening a knife and everything, if you don't quite get it right, it's not a huge investment. You can fix it, so to speak. It's not something that's going to be, oh my Lord. So therefore, that's a really good, starter beginning knife. Another Mora that I've showed in many of my videos is this classic Mora neck knife. And this has the famous red handle. These are really, really good bushcraft crafting knives because the blade's got a thick enough spine to it. It is not a full tang. It's a small rat tail tang in it. But this is meant for cutting, carving, not batoning, not beating, not chopping. It is a knife for cutting, not beating, batoning, etc. Now the Jorgensen is a good thick blade as well, and I'm not going to say you can baton one, but if you're one of those that want to try batoning, start with a cheap knife, because a cheap knife's going to teach you when they break, and all knives will break eventually, and batoning is putting a large amount of stress on a knife. I personally do not encourage batoning. There are times when this is the choice you got. There is no small tinder, and I've got to take a 3-inch or so inch diameter branch and turn it into small tinder to get a fire going. Okay, a saw and some other stuff. We'll get to that later. But if you got to try batoning, get something like this and start with it, because when you break it, and you will, you're only out like 10 bucks. Next, another really good bushcraft knife is this Mora, like this, got the famous red handle, and I wore this as a neck knife in my early videos for years, and it is a really good bushcraft knife. The blade is narrow, so for doing turn cuts like trying to carve spoons, trying to carve dingle sticks, stuff like that, that narrow blade really works very well. And yet this one is long enough, 3 or 4 inches, probably about four, maybe even 1, 2, 3, 3.5 going on 4 inches. So therefore it's good for cutting meat and stuff like that for camp prep where I'm doing cooking, etc. This works really, really good. So for an overall knife, works good. Now the sheath that comes with it is just a thin piece of plastic. I covered mine in leather and turned it into a neck knife with a couple of braided pieces of paracord. But you can come, there are other more knives. You may find something you like. And they're very budget priced, around the $25 range, something like that. Step up into the $50 and less is this BP knives, BPS knives. They're coming out of Ukraine. Now that's a classic bush lore design, this type of shape. And this is in Europe very, very popular as a bushcraft knife. It's got a good spine on it and is a good size for cutting and use in bushcraft stuff. And it's only like, I have seen them for sale in like $39, and I've seen them as high as like $45, $48. So somewhere less than $50. They come with a good leather sheath that's got a dangler on it, and the sheath is not a trivial consideration here. This is a good piece of leather, and you've got a belt loop, so you can put it on your belt like that, or you can do a dangler. Why a dangler? A dangler is really handy when you're in the winter and it's cold and you need to put a belt on the outside of your jacket or something. Because if you put this actually on your belt, you got to dig up under all these layers to get down to your belt. And that makes it difficult and dangerous trying to, cold hands, wearing multiple layers, trying to put it onto a belt loop over here. You end up tearing your pants, cutting your pants, and stabbing yourself. So having a dangler where I can pull it out away from me and guide it, cross draw in and out, and then let go is a real advantage. So a dangler sheath is a good idea, especially if you're in cold country. Another one around the $50 or less range is same design, but this is a condor woods or bush lore or wood lore. I believe it's called a condor woods lore. And this was my bushcraft knife that I used prior to getting my custom knife. Really good, classic bushcraft knife. Comes with a decent leather sheath. They hold an edge well, they sharpen easy in the field, and they do a good bushcraft job. So under $50, you can easily have good looking knives and good performance. And budget friendly knives are there. Now, how about a pocket knife? Pocket knives are really, really good because they're the other blade you carry in your haversack. And this is a small blade for doing detail work, or more specialized blade. Nesmont carried a belt knife. He carried a jackknife, which was a two-blade pocket knife. And then he carried also a hatchet with two edges on it. One kind of more robust for splitting and one very fine and sharp for slicing. And so that gave him 4 cutting edges, 5 actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 cutting edges that he carried with him. And so having multiple choices is always a good idea. Now, as I pointed out, that Mora is a good bushcraft knife. Not expensive at all, $20 or less. You can get a folding Rough Rider Granddaddy Barlow. That's what this one is. And a Granddaddy Barlow, when you open it up, pretty similar, ain't it? They have a safety lock. That's that right there to keep it from closing up on your hand. But remember, it's a slip joint. You can't be roughhousing with it. But bearing down and cutting, it will do anything this will do. And it's a narrow blade. And so carrying this in a haversack, to have a thin, narrow blade as opposed to this, might be an option. Excuse me. the classic Boy Scout knife that has the classic Boy Scout blade, and then it's got the awl in it, the can opener, bottle opener, and the can, uh, excuse me, bottle opener, screwdriver, and can opener right there. Just a classic pocket knife that does a really good job in the field as a bushcraft companion knife to a larger knife. These can be picked up, reasonable price, $50 or less, depending. If you're going for vintage stuff, it's going to be more. Now, I know somebody in the comments is going to mention an Opinel. Opinels are great pocket knives. They're not a pry-on, beat-on knife, but they're a very good piece of steel and cut very well. And this one has ridden in my Haversack for years as a backup blade. And you can see by the discoloration how much use it gets. It has a locking collar that turns and locks it and turns it into a fixed blade knife. It's a thin blade, so it slices very, very well for detail work and gives me a more precision blade for doing up close detail work. Now, I keep mine inside this little leather sheath, and that's how it would ride in my haversack. For something I can reach in and grab easily by touch and know what it is. Now, plain old 3-blade Stockman pocket knife. Rough Rider makes these, and Rough Rider are good blades for the cost. They look like a case knife, and they're actually a decent piece of steel for the price. And I know people are going to say, but it doesn't. That's true. But we're not talking about Olympics here. We're talking about the average person. And I have really good friends who collect case knives. I mean, they don't bat an eyelash dropping $1,000 for some vintage case knife that was only produced whatever. They have a wall of case knives when you go into their den. But they've started collecting Rough Rider knives because they're really good for the price, quality knife, and they're normally $20 or less for a slip joint pocket knife like this. You can get them from Smoky Mountain Knife Works. In fact, most of these knives you can probably get from Smoky Mountain Knife Works, okay, just by looking at their site. How about the classic Buck 110 as a backup knife to put into a haversack? Very, very useful, sworn by many generations now of woodsmen. It is a little heavy. That big old thick handle and that brass, it is heavy compared to the others, but it is a rock solid knife for field work. And then there's specialty knives. Let me show you this one up close. This is, and you can get a Rough Rider just like this. This is a fishing knife. And if your predominant reason you're coming out to camp is to fish, might be something you want to look at. It's got a lanyard loop on it so I can hang it around my neck. I've got a cutting blade right there. And then on the other one, I got a specialty blade. That one has a bottle opener, a fish scaler for removing the scales, and a fish hook removing tool for going down and getting the hook out of a small fish you want to let go back live into the water. And that fits to hang around your neck. So a fishing knife might be a good backup edge to put into your kit. Now, I know this is a little general, and that's the point of it, because I don't know your skills, your abilities, and getting a higher quality knife. I mean, this is a work tough bushcraft type knife right there that I got from my good friend Scab. Would be a good knife. It's a full tang. Holds an edge well, be a real good one, but the cost is not going to be $20. And if you're going to invest in a knife, let's play around and get the skill first before you invest. That's one of the reasons we're looking at this budget entire series idea, because it's the chicken and the egg argument. If I go buy $1,000 worth of really good equipment, that won't automatically make me a better woodsman, make me a better hunter, fisher, camper. It's just I got expensive gear. On the other hand, if I don't have the skills for that $1,000 worth of gear, odds are I'm going to damage gear just by ignorance and lack of experience. And tearing up a $300 tarp, because you didn't know how to secure it properly, or breaking a knife because you were batoning it, or trying to sharpen it and just rolling the edge and making it a bar of soap, you know, is just a learning experience. And so, how about we ease in a little bit? We get the gear that will do an adequate starting job with minimum money investment, something along this. Then, as we get the skills, as we get the confidence, as time goes by, I'll want to upgrade and invest into a better knife, a little step up. Like, for example, the Condor right there and Thorson's stuff. This is another Condor, and I think it's called a Swamp Rat. See? A little step up. These are about like $75. Then you move on up into the 100, 150 on up range. And then you got little bitty, like this is a custom knife from William Collins called the Mini. That is a craft and carving knife. Fantastic little knife for in the field. Once you get the skills, this will be, you can use just this because you're carrying a saw, or you're carrying a hatchet, or you're carrying a kukri for the big heavy duty job, and I want something precision for up close. That becomes you and your style and what you enjoy. And having pocket knives, having belt knives are part of this skill set, and it really comes down to personal choice. Now, a couple of years ago, I was gifted this knife, and I put it on my video showing it, and it's a very nice leather pouch. This might be something, the $110 you can get with a leather pouch. And it was a old timer knife. It has a nice big blade on it, and then it also had a good locking wood saw on it. And then we found out that these had kind of been discontinued, and now they were going for like $200 or $300 a piece. So, when you're seeing this video, check prices. Times change, things go around. When that knife sold new, it was about like $75, but now because it's a collectible item, it's like $300. These knives right here are budget knives, and I recommend them as a starting knife. The BPS, the Condors, the Jorgensens, and the Moras. For the pocket knives, Rough Rider are good budget pocket knives to get started with. Open L's are good budget pocket knives to get started with. Good quality steel, does a good job. But understand that things may go up or down in price over time. So if you're watching this video several years after I made it, your local prices may be different now. That's just the world we live in. But at this time, this would be what I recommend for a budget getting started blade to add to your Haversack kit. There will be more gear and more how to do it in this series coming up. Hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. Put down there in the comments what knife you would choose for a first budget knife. Till next time, guys, I'm Blackie wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.